Hey everybody, it's Tammy with Spot On Psychic Readings and Chippy, and I'm here today to do a really special reading for you all on Archangel Michael. And you know, I mention Archangel Michael quite often in my readings for good reason. He's a very protective archangel, and some people have asked, you know, could you say more about Archangel Michael? You know, we'd like to know more. And ironically, this week it came to my attention that another psychic had done a whole channeling from Archangel Michael. It's quite amazing. She's a quite famous psychic, and I'll tell you more about her in a little bit. Let me give Chippy his cookie, and I know he'll want to go take a nap over here while I do this for you. So I find it interesting, and a lot of people have mentioned this too. It's really interesting how we psychics come up with the same things all the time. You know, a long time ago, I used to work for a psychic hotline, and I would have people call in and say, you know, this other psychic told me, and then they would get a little embarrassed, like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have told Tammy that because now she's going to get mad that I read with another psychic, you know. And I was always like, no, it's good. It's good to get a consensus from a lot of different psychics because we all see different things, you know, and we all see similar things. And I think it's the similarities we need to pay attention to. So when this came to my attention, I've got the goosebumps right now too. I could totally feel Archangel Michael coming in. So, wow, it's powerful. So I'm going to get emotional during this too, just like this other psychic did. I can't wait to tell you about it and share some of her video with you. But anyway, a lot of us psychics do end up seeing the same things. And when this message came up from this channeling that I watched that she did a couple of weeks ago, it was so much like a channeling, an angel channeling that I got myself 2 years ago on October 1st, 2021. And I saved it, I had written it down, and a lot of times when I am communicating with angels, I will do automatic writing, and that is what I got here, was this automatic writing from my angels. And I want to read you this. I'm going to start with this, and then I want to tell you where this coincides with the channeling from the very well-known psychic Nicky Alan. And I'll tell you more about her as I get to it. But first, let me start with this, okay? So here's what it says, and I'll show you the whole picture of it. This is the original. Many angels around you. You are one of them. You long to be back among the angels, your friends. You came here to help humanity and the animals. You came to try to change the current outcome. This is why the darkness tried so hard to throw you off and stop you. Why you've been a target. It's almost over. Humanity has lost. They did not awaken. You will be lifted out. Rapture. Most everyone is leaving the planet. God wants his people to come home. The grand experiment is over. There will be many lost souls unable to find their way back to God. The new earth awaits. The new dimension shifts like a revolving door, easily, gently, quietly. So let's listen to a little bit of Nicky's video now. And I just wanted to let you know that her dog started off coming through when she started to channel, and it got her really emotional, her deceased dog. And then her parents came through. So she was really, really emotional starting this reading. And then she was taken into the chamber of the archangels. Can you imagine? She describes walking through this beautiful green garden and the celestial garden and all these views, and she just couldn't hold back the tears. And then she saw Archangel Michael, and no doubt she's just overcome with his powerful presence. For those of you that don't know, Nicky Alan is an international TV psychic medium, and she's a #1 best-selling author, podcaster, tutor, tarot reader, and angel communicator, and also a resident medium on Angels Sky TV. So let's hear some of her channeling in this video I want to share.
need to settle my chakras in, guys. I'm sorry.
She was so emotional.
Okay.
And I think a lot of us get emotional when we channel angels. It's so powerful.
Many planetary systems that I have held birth with the aid of Gabriel, Ariel, and the Seraphim. One of the most favourite planets that we create as a learning and younger planet is Earth. This is the youngest in the constellation in the universe and the galactic frequencies. It is a place for younger souls in the astral belt to learn and advance, as you would call the soul ascension. During the times of creations, we have had layers of frequency. We've identified each frequency that assists humankind and the universe as a human title. You have given me the human title, Michael. My frequency is blue. My frequency is strength. My frequency is protection, birthing planets, and allowing humankind to be protected. You have no idea how much we are protecting you at this present time, from yourselves, from each other. We work tirelessly to try and bring peace and calm to humankind, and we use portal mediums, as said by Gabriel, to bring our word to the human essences. The problems we've noticed over eons of time is what you would call the witch hunt. What you call mediums, channelers, light workers, have been put in the shadows, ridiculed, not believed. For how could a human being possibly connect with divine energies? Let's just mention the name Jesus.
Amazing.
Called the first humans. Of course, there were humans evolving way before the Adam and the Eve. However, these were the first humans to have a consciousness, a link to source, a soul, if you like. When we birthed this planet with this new human consciousness, we had a frequency that you identify as the name of Lucifer. Lucifer was also responsible, along with myself, Gabriel, Ariel, and the Seraphim, to help birth and keep these humans safe, to keep them well during their connection and consciousness. He was responsible for making sure that they were comfortable having the soul imparted into their human body. We all looked on in interest to see how the ego shell of a human being would resonate with an inner soul. Perhaps in your shallow version, it could be, we would call them guinea pigs. Lucifer was there to stand by them. We also had a seraphim sibling, Sophia, that stood with him. There was one flaw in this organised event. Lucifer was allowed to be earthed and to stand and watch how the Adam and the Eve grew, nurtured, learned, created homes, created a love amongst themselves. And this is where the truth stops. For we now enter a viper, we enter the forbidden fruits.
Witch hunt indeed, right? Yeah. So also, back to Nikki's video with Archangel Michael. The guinea pigs, really? The guinea pigs part. But you know what? It's pretty much exactly what I had gotten when I channeled this 2 years ago, where it says the grand experiment is over. And they had me capitalize the G and the E, like the grand experiment. And I thought even then, I was a little put off by that. I'm like, but you know, I've kind of always felt it. I kind of felt I was even, not by the archangels, but I felt like I was tricked in between lifetimes into coming here. Like I was kind of duped into coming into this earth plane in this lifetime. I think it's kind of like, you know, what I remember was, well, you'll have horses and you'll have a pony and there will be ice skating and you'll live right next to your grandparents and things like that. And I was like, okay, I'm in. And there was some of that, but they weren't, you know, they weren't my horses when I got older, and the ice skating never really happened. I think I went once, and I just always questioned that. And they have told me I came for the animals. I do believe that. I know that I did, you know, for sure. And Nicky, of course, mentions that during the channeling about love for the animals, you know, on this plane. So I'll get to that in a minute, but anyway, when I was a child, I had the Watchers. I was afraid to play in my room. I did play in my room, but I was afraid to. I was an only child, and I had the Watchers, and they were over in one corner of my room. And they were really freaky. I couldn't see them, but I could feel them, and I knew they were watching me. And now I have to wonder how this coincides with what she talks about with the dark energy, with the Lucifer energy. You know, I almost feel like it's followed me a lot because of my spiritual gifts. And I'm just now understanding some of that, which is part of why I wanted to share it with you all today. So maybe this answers some of the experiment. There was somebody watching this experiment, this grand experiment. So why do Christians, in particular Christians, come in and condemn me for my special gifts that I know are from God and that I know are gifts from the archangels? I don't know. I often have to remove their comments. These so-called Christians leave some of the meanest comments calling me evil on this channel. It is really very sad. Mostly sad for them because they're really missing out because they could connect as well, you know. Sadly, a lot of people are shutting down their gifts due to these beliefs and due to people being so mean to them. And I had a mean email even today. I almost read it to you all just to call her out. Yeah, from a woman, and really, really mean comments. Apparently a Virgo, if it matters to any of you. Anyway, do you know there were many prophets in the Bible? And I identify with a lot of their experiences and the times that they have connected with angels and angels appear to them, because I have also seen angels. And I do mean with my physical eyes as well. I've seen angels. I've been in a lot of contact with angels. And with all of these prophets, you know, that are in the Bible, and I identify with them, and yet I've been called evil, and people are sometimes suspicious of me because I've had those experiences myself. Like they think I'm making it up. Couldn't be further from the truth. And being a psychic medium, it's become one of the most tainted professions, sadly enough. One of the most tainted gifts that people question, and one of the most special gifts. And I know if you are a psychic, I know you know what I'm talking about. It's like you have to be so careful who you tell what you do, and not telling people, you know. It's like I used to be really open about it, and then I stopped being really open about it because I really felt persecuted by a lot of people. And thanks to this dark force has thrust itself into our existence. And this should have been a really beautiful place, you know, where we live. I get these visions sometimes of how it was supposed to be, being here. So I can connect with Jesus directly, and I have this meditation, special meditation that I do that I want to share with you because I think you will be able to do it too. Especially you mediums out there, maybe you already do this or you have something you'd like to share as well. But here's how I connect with Jesus, and I've had many really inspiring, beautiful communications with him. So in a meditative state, I close my eyes, I get in that space, and I imagine myself walking through these beautiful emerald woods, okay, with beautiful old trees and just green, the green evergreen trees, and it's just beautiful and magical and sparkly, you know, so alive. And I come to a door that sometimes it's in a large tree and sometimes it's like a small little tiny house sort of thing next to a tree. Depends. It can really switch around, you know. And so I knock on the door, and this is an arched doorway. It's a beautiful wooden arched doorway, very rustic. And I knock on the door. I've got the goosebumps again. And Jesus will answer the door. He comes to the door. You can see him, and this is where your connection is. Connections often happen in what I call the between spaces. They call them the tween spaces. And this is a between space in that doorway or in that opening of that tree. There's always a tree to the left or behind it. So Jesus will open the door, and I go in the door, and he sits down in a very rustic wooden chair, and it's just brown inside. It's very, very, very small little one-room cottage kind of place. And he sits down, and he asks me, sometimes he asks me, sometimes it's telepathic, but sometimes he'll ask me why I came. And I share things with him, and I have asked him questions. I've asked him to help me solve problems. I have gone for comfort. There's just, sometimes I just go and sit with him, and the unconditional love from Jesus just washes over me. I mean, it's an amazing experience. And I'm really trying not to get emotional right now telling you about it, because it's so special, and I've really never shared this with people before, so I hope that you find this helpful, you know. So, like I said, it really is hurtful to me when Christians accuse me of being a fake or being, you know, being evil. Accuse me of being evil. And ever since I was a kid, I would do this thing with my Bible that I got when I was baptized in the Christian faith in a Baptist church when I was about 10 years old. And I would do this thing where I would light a candle. Yeah, I was allowed to have a candle in my room at that age. I was safe. And so I would flip open the Bible to a page. I would close my eyes and do this, and I would point my finger onto whatever I thought Jesus wanted the message to be, and it would always be a special message. So that was kind of the start of me almost like reading tarot cards. I was able to feel the message with my hand, with my fingertips, and know exactly where to open the Bible up to get these messages, and they were always super meaningful, even to a 10-year-old. So yeah. And I don't want to seem too jaded about things, although maybe I am. Honestly, maybe I am. But, you know, recently I've had a lot of moments of questioning things, and I might be a little bit edgy about things as they are right now, just in the world in general. But like the other day, I drove across this beautiful mountain road where I live, here in the mountains, and what used to be a beautiful mountain road. And there are many curves that lead down into a couple little neighboring towns, and they're just these quaint little towns that were, some of them date way back to 1930, 1940, you know, very old buildings and old houses that you just don't see everywhere anymore. And they've been bowled over by sprawl, you know, everywhere. And this area that used to be so beautiful has been decimated by bulldozers for about 20 miles or more, and that's just the beginning of it. It's gonna keep spreading. And the Department of Transportation has done this with their bulldozers. I mean, it's unrecognizable, it's decimated, and the beautiful mountainscape is gone. Most of the mountains are gone. They've just been capped off. Like, the mountains used to go like this, and now they're like flat. It's really ugly. It's really depressing. I always felt like it was my mountain paradise here. That's why I moved here. I certainly didn't move here out of convenience. And I just, I thought others loved it too. And I think they do. The locals love it, and the locals would protect it. But those decisions were sent down from above, and they didn't care what the locals thought. They cared about progress. They cared about a highway that goes right through our quaint little towns, and they're getting rid of everything that had character and meaning. It's really, really sad. And the most depressing thing, it's like when I drove through there the other day, I felt like I was in the movie Avatar. if you've seen Avatar. And it's like they're bulldozing everything in their way, including life itself. I mean, that's how it felt to me. And that's what my area looks like at the moment. It's very upsetting. It's very, very upsetting. I moved here to be away from the sprawl and to be in the uniqueness of the landscape and the trees that were hundreds of years old. And I wanted to be among the feeling of nature spirits and angels and nature itself. And it's driven all the nature, all the wildlife into our towns. You know, we're overrun with bears now. So, and it's really sad. Really, really sad. So it's like the Department of Transportation here is trying to drive out everything connected with spirit. That's how it felt to me. Let's hear this.
He remains in a limbo energy, a frequency that surrounds human beings. We had such great thoughts, perceptions of the humans. Now that they had a soul consciousness, we saw no danger to the frequency of the Lucifer. However, the humans that we created with the first soul consciousness adored the land, adored the fruits, the nuts, the seeds, the fish in the sea to sustain them. They were very simple human beings, full of love, unconditional learning, peace, tranquility. The humans grew, and they grew, and they reproduced, and we started to see a change in the ecosystem. We started to see comparison in human nature. We started to see the jealousy, sometimes hate, competition. But again, we put it down to a frivolous, perhaps small basis of the human ego structure that we really didn't mind. I will use the same words as Gabriel, ego structure. By the time of Jesus, we knew that we needed someone to bring peace and to show miracles of what we could create. There was too much ego on the planet already by the time Jesus manifested and incarnated onto the planet.
I wonder how it is that the archangels didn't know we would have ego. That was a real mystery to me. I'd like to know more. I hope that she continues her channeling at another time, so we might get some answers to that, because they seem very all-knowing. But again, we were an experiment, so I guess they didn't know everything. And I mean, my ego has some pretty big resentment about some things toward the archangels. I'm just going to be honest. And they considered us guinea pigs. I'm a little resentful about that. I'll just be honest. And, you know, and I love the angels. I mean, I feel very, very connected to them, but I ask them some hard questions sometimes. And I had this problem with the angels before they even called this a grand experiment. For years, I've been saying, like, why did the human body do this and that? Why were we designed in this way? Like, I think that was a mistake. I can get really critical with them, especially about women. I'm like, why do women have monthly cycles and hot flashes? I think that was an oversight too. Sometimes I get these visions of how our planet was supposed to be. You know, when we were first brought here as the guinea pigs, that Archangel Michael says. I'm still trying to wrap my head around that. But you know, I see it like it should have been beautiful. There should have been supportive people. There should have been love. And I feel like in the name of free will, I mean, they say we have free will, right? But I also feel like economics really affects our free will. It's like you have more choices if you have more money on this planet, and yet more money seems to take away more of our free will. So I question sometimes about the free will. You know, I have questions, and I'm not trying to ask you all for answers. It just, I question things, I think about things, I ask them questions, okay? And I guess I'm asking them questions right now because I would like more information about this sort of thing. I want you to hear now what she says about the black tar. Maybe some of you have heard of that. Here's what she says.
Learned, created homes, created a love amongst themselves. And this is where the truth stops. For we now enter a viper, we enter the forbidden fruits. This is all the wonderful tapestry of scribes. Through this channel, we will explain Lucifer started to resonate with human feelings and emotions. He craved what the humans were experiencing. The first celestial being to crave humanity, to crave love, emotion, ego. Sophia, the sibling of the seraphim, saw what took place. They made efforts to blend with themselves as the Adam and the Eve did. They wanted to understand the intimacy between the two. Never could they come close to the human emotion, human feeling, and being earthed in a human body. This made Lucifer resentful. The source could feel the frequency changing within Lucifer, and he was asked to come back to the celestial home, which you title the Celestial Crystal Palace.
I'll meet you guys at the Celestial Crystal Palace, all you mediums, okay? So we're gonna get to the black tar part, hold on.
If he wished to resonate on the human frequency line, he could never come back up to the celestial layers as a pure enlightened being. He agreed. Again, notice the pronoun. We are they, we are I, we are he, she, we are. Again, all of this is slowly and comprehensively delivered for human ears. Lucifer gratefully resonated down on the earth plane, hoping that the more he attracted himself to certain layers of energy in humans, the more he would also feel the human existence. Over eons of time, he realised that he could never infiltrate human energy. This created a darker, deeper resentment, an energy that resonated throughout the planet as heavy, dark. You would see it as tar. Black tar, black tar, black tar, thick, dank. Almost a smell that make your human nose turn.
And I've got to add, whenever I have done mediumship for people, and if I get into like a bad spirit comes in, it smells awful. That dank smell that she's talking about. Yeah, it's a thing. But seriously, the archangels are so powerful to have created a whole world. And I don't totally understand how they couldn't stop Lucifer. I guess because of free will, and yet that dark influence as the room grows dark, even with me talking about it, it's diminished our free will, has it not? It's certainly diminished our joy. Sometimes I say to the angels and the spirit guides, you know, when they're saying to me, you know, send more love, like meditate more and all those things. I mean, that sounds great, but I'm like, will you come down here and pay my bills then? Right? Listen to what she says about not attracting the energy of Lucifer.
To get us back on our divine path, to get us back in the light. If you have hateful thoughts, if you have the energy within you to kill, hurt, maim, injure, harm, then you will easily attract the energy of Lucifer. However, all that listen to the light workers, that create the light themselves, have no fear. You have nothing that can come to you that will bring you any harm or dark. However, those that listen to the words that have been put into the tapestry of the religions down there on the earth plane, they fear Lucifer every single TikTok day, as our learned Julianus would say. They voice him, they think of him every single time they pray to the omnipresence. Who do you think Lucifer will knock on the door of first? The one that mentions his name, that sends intention of him not wanting to come to their door? Or the ones that don't even think of him for one single moment and just bathe in the light of the love of us, your human titled archangels? Bathe in our love, bathe in our frequency, bathe in our light, our colour. For once you invoke us and allow us just a fragment of our frequency into your life, we are encouraging more light and colour on the earth plane.
Isn't that beautiful? That's what we need to do. Focus on love, focus on light.
With a frequency that's just above her. The people that maim, hurt, kill, abuse, whether it be the planet, the animals, the voiceless souls, the children, the innocent, you know, all feed off each other and create abuse. We're eradicating this with your consciousness and you listening to the word of the portals. We will bring such peace and tranquility that hasn't been seen on this planet for a very long time. Of course, there will always be conflict, for you have free will and you have ego structures. A lot of what's taking place now needs to happen to get us back on our divine path, to get us back in the light.
I took a lot of notes, so I wouldn't forget to tell you all things. But the reason I'm coming through is for a few reasons. One, her reading resonated so strongly with me. You just can't imagine. I had the goosebumps. I cried all the way through it. And as an angel communicator, you know, I haven't done it on YouTube yet necessarily, but I have talked about some of my angel experiences, one of which is a really strong one with Archangel Michael. And, you know, the algorithms have a lot of influence over what we creators create on YouTube. And what we post for our viewers isn't always what our viewers see, because what YouTube shows is what comes up in the viewer's history. So if you like this video, I'm just going to tell you up front, and also with Nicky Alan's video when I share that in a second, please give it a like. That helps. Please watch it to the end. Please rewatch it if you like it. Please share it. Okay, please comment. All those things help get out more messages, because I have a lot of messages I'd like to share on this channel. And I started this channel about a year ago. And I love doing the tarot readings for the different signs, but I also have a lot of other information I love to share. It doesn't get pushed out very well. So I'm going to connect a couple of links to the end and all that. You can look in the description box, which is below, the little description about the videos, and you'll see some links to some more of my videos and also to Nicky Alan's channel, and I hope that you guys go. Remember how a few weeks ago I did videos on spiritual warfare? This is it.